Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Global Education Study Abroad Expo. We are so excited to welcome our colleague Catherine from the University of Birkbeck, University of London. We are so excited to have them here tonight. Please note that this is recorded. For students that are not able to be here tonight, this will be up on our website live for you guys to watch a bit later. Just a little background on who Global Education is. We are the in-country representatives for Birkbeck University of London. What that means basically is we'll help you do your application, we'll help you find and secure accommodation, we'll also help you with your visa if you need a visa. We are really the middleman between university and student. We like to pride ourselves in removing as much anxiety as humanly possible. I urge you to please make contact with us if you want to know more about the university, especially if it's course specific. Get in touch with us and we will do our best to help you and to get you to the university. All right. Well, welcome, Catherine. We are so honored to have you here tonight.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Okay, so I will be starting my presentation now, the slideshow. And okay, can you tell me, can you see the screen now?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Is that better?
Not yet. Hold on. No, I can't. It's not sharing quite as yet, Catherine.
Okay, let's see if this one share.
There we go. Now it's loading.
Okay, great. And you can see the first slide.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay,
awesome.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine.
Okay. So hi, everybody. So my name is Catherine Charpentier, and I am the International Officer at Birkbeck, and I'm dealing exclusively from students from all of Africa, basically. So I would be kind of your main liaison as well between the admission team, and the international student administration team as well. So I'll be there to help if you have any question and support you. And today I will tell you a little bit about Birkbeck. I hope a fair deal, and help you get to know a little bit more about the college. So a short history about Birkbeck. Birkbeck was created in 1823. So we are going to soon celebrate our 200-year anniversary, and we're already starting of a preparation for that. So we've got a long history where Birkbeck was created initially to educate the busy working Londoners, especially people who didn't have access to education, because obviously education before higher education was a preserve of the richest people. So when George Birkbeck created the college, it was to help the working Londoner to have access to education. And we've kept that ethos, and that's why the way we kind of teach is a bit different from other college and university. And I will come back to that in a minute. Another part of the history that we're very proud of is that in 1830, we were one of the first colleges to accept female students. And then in 1920, Birkbeck joined officially the University of London. So you might have heard the name of the University of London. It's very famous. It was established in 1836. It's basically a federation of 18 independent member institutions, which are very usually quite famous, well established. And that include colleges like SOAS, the School of Oriental and African Study, LSE, UCL, London Business School, maybe also some other university or colleges that are maybe less well known, like, well, they're still quite good college, like Goldsmith, London School of Hygiene, Tropical Medicine. So we are part of this very famous group via the University of London. And what that means for an international student is that when you study with us, at the end of your study, you get a University of London degree. So you will show Birkbeck, so you will show University of London and then the name of the college, which is Birkbeck. And that's the same thing that you would have if you study in one of the other colleges of a University of London. Birkbeck has a great location because we are located in central London. So just have a little bit of a map of London there. We are very close to Oxford Street, about 15-minute walk. Chinatown as well, just close to the British Museum. There's just one building between us and the British Museum. So it's an amazing location for students in the heart of London, just in Zone 1, Central London. And within London, we are located in Bloomsbury as well. And I will come back a little bit on that in a second. But I guess I don't have to say much about London because obviously London is very well known. But I would just say that, in the past 3 years, for 3 years in a row, London has been chosen as the top destination for international students in the world. So I've been since 2018, every year. Obviously, London is great because it's a global hub for many industries and you have major companies here. So in terms of internship and opportunities for international students, it's a great city. It's a truly global city with about almost 37% of the residents, of 9 million residents, who are born outside of the UK. What it means is the population here is very welcoming, very open to people coming from the outside. And also as an international student, you've got a lot to discover. Obviously, you can discover a bit of a British culture, but you also have access to international culture, culture from all over the countries of the world. And to be honest, even as an international student, if at one point you feel, oh, I miss my country, I miss the food of my country, you can find your food of the country in restaurants, in shop. You will have people from your own region as well in London. So, I mean, I won't go too much. I love London, obviously. It's a place where I come to live as well. And you can see, as an international student, you would absolutely love it. It's also very well known for its culture. We've got world famous West End, which is about just a few minutes from our college as well, because we're in central London, and great museums as well. So as I mentioned earlier, we are located in Bloomsbury. So it's a very nice green area with a lot of beautiful squares. So it's quite quiet, even though we're just like a few minutes walk from Oxford Street, for instance, which is very bustling and vibrant. In Bloomsbury, you've got a bit of peace and quiet, a lot of squares. That was the home of the authors like Virginia Woolf and artists of a Bloomsbury set. And also where Birkbeck is located is also known as the University Square. So basically you would have around the area, you would have the headquarters of the University of London, which is just next door to us. And that's the building you can see on the left of your screen. So that's just next door to Birkbeck. You also have just next door to us as well, UCL and SOAS. So you got these 3 colleges, universities are just next door to each other. And actually some of our classes take place in SOAS buildings. Some of SOAS classes and UCL classes and students will come to our building sometime to do classes as well. So you will be able to meet students from all those universities as well. We do have our graduation, for instance, of some of our teaching in the University of London building as well, that you can see there. So you get to interact with a lot of students from all over when you are at Birkbeck. So we got our main campus, which is a Bloomsbury campus. The building that you can see there was built in 1950s, but it's been updated. You can see we've got a lot of modern equipment. A big library that is there, which is a 5-level library, 5-floor library, which has been added to the college. And we also still invest in getting new facilities. So last year, we opened a new building on Euston Road, which is about 10-15 minutes walk from the college, and has great facilities, as you can see on these pictures. And it's about just a few minutes from Regent's Parks as well. So it's great to go and actually take a little stroll around the square as well, the park, during the lunch break or during the day before you come to class. I will just mention a little bit our rankings at Birkbeck. So we are a top 150 world university, and we're also in the top 40 of UK universities. And we're also very proud of a student satisfaction level. So we were third in London for the quality of teaching, and that's voted by our students. You know, there's a national survey that takes place every year, and Birkbeck came as third in the quality of teaching, as voted by students, fourth in London for overall satisfaction, and 90% of the college students actually found that the course were intellectually stimulating. So we're very proud of this statistic and these numbers. What makes Birkbeck unique? How is Birkbeck different from other colleges and universities? Well, the big difference at Birkbeck is that most of our teaching take place in the evening. So Birkbeck is the only specialist provider of evening higher education. So the classes will be usually 6 to 9 p.m. So for most courses, so there are a few courses that have either mix or daytime or evening classes, and over few limited number in biology and psychology that are fully daytime. But generally speaking, when you talk about Birkbeck, you're talking about evening teaching. And basically, as you remember, I just mentioned earlier that when Birkbeck was created, it was for the working Londoner, and the idea was that people were able to go to work during the day to make a living, and then come and study here in the evening at Birkbeck. And we've kept to that, so that's why the majority of our traditional Birkbeck students are working Londoners or Londoners, and then they come and study at Birkbeck as well. It's a very diverse body. You would also have the typical student coming straight from A-level or from the undergraduate coming straight to Birkbeck, and they're just attracted by basically the profile of the college. So it's very diverse in that way, but it's a very unique proposition, Birkbeck, with a very diverse student body. So what's good in the teaching model at Birkbeck? Well, our evening study means that you have daytime freedom. So you have time to study. You can go to the library, obviously our beautiful library, which is a very modern library. Or you can also access the University of London library, for instance, if you want, the one that is just next door to us, which is a beautiful library, the British Library, for instance, or, just work at your own rhythm to do your studies. You can also enjoy all that London has to offer. You'll be in one of the best cities in the world, so you can take the time to enjoy it during the day. Also, a lot of our students really appreciate that time, that model, because I mean, they can get meaningful work experience during the day. If you are in a more standard classic university where you have classes during the day, you might only be free at the weekend or evening for jobs. And obviously the kind of opportunity that you might have will definitely be different than what you have if you are free during the office business hours. So you would have a lot of opportunity at Birkbeck in terms of career development. And we have a lot of services to help with getting paid internship or part-time job, as you can get as an international student. And that's something I will come back a little bit on later on. We also like at Birkbeck that we have a very diverse student body. So our international students will be sat alongside in the classroom, students who are working Londoners. And they will be from different ages, so as mentioned earlier, straight from undergraduate or A-level secondary school, or they could have worked maybe a couple of years and then they want to get a degree to improve and boost their career, or they can be people who basically want to come to change and get a different path in their career. What the students tell us, our international students tell us, is that it's great for them because it gives them an insight into like industry they are interested in, and also the UK work market, how things work. our students, they can share their experience as people who have been working. So it's not just a theory. When we answer a question and take part in the classroom, they just don't talk about theory. They talk about their own experience, having worked in the industry and knowing a little bit about the subject. So it makes for a very different experience in the classroom. These students usually as well, especially so for the numbers of students who are actually working and are coming to, boost their career, they're highly motivated. And international students usually are also very highly motivated. You're making an investment when you go to the UK, you're leaving your family behind, you might be leaving your job behind to come to the UK. And it's great to be in a class with people sat next to you who also are very focused because they really are giving out their time, which they could be with their family or just relaxing after a day of work. So you are kind of really on the kind of same mindset. And our international students really like that. And also, they also find that it gives them like possibility in terms of networking, because obviously working and studying with students who are maybe in the industry you're interested in to go into, then you can build that network, can get those relations. Sometimes some of our students have got some little tips about jobs, part-time jobs that way. And also it's good for the future in terms of what you want to develop later on and what you want to do. So that's what makes us absolutely an unique experience for our students. We focus a lot on employability and developing the skills of our students. And it actually shows in terms of results. So 95% employment rate for our students. So that is within 6 months of graduating, 95% of our students are either working or in further studies. In terms of the income they are getting, Birkbeck graduates are the 11th highest earners in the UK within 1 year of their studies. And actually 50% of the Birkbeck graduates earn £30,000 or more 6 months after graduating. That makes us the third highest income in terms of university amongst the non-Russell Group higher education institutions. So to help our students in terms of careers, we've got the services that are Birkbeck Futures. So there are 3 parts in Birkbeck Futures. So there are the typical classic career services. So they will help international students and home students into developing a CV, working on skills. If you have an interview and you don't really know how to prepare for an interview, so they will be there to help you. Some of our students as well come to us and we're not sure in terms of their career, what they want to do in the future. So we have also teams that can help into coaching as well, into thinking about what you want to do or if you want yourself to change career. So they offer all of those services. We also focus a lot on entrepreneurship. So we've got a service dedicated to that. They will have, I think one of the star programs they have is the Entrepreneurship Pathway called Pioneer. It's basically a extracurricular activity that is available to all students. It doesn't matter which subject they study, so it doesn't have to be just business student, but it can be students working in studying in arts or science. But if those students have an idea that later on they want to create a company, a business, well, during the time they are at Birkbeck, they have this whole kind of year when they can kind of work on that project. It's at a pace that obviously allows you to do your studies. So I think when we did it last time in person, so 2020. So it was like one event every month. So you can work on a project, come back to it, and the next time you work on something different. And they had the 100 of students on this program. So that was a Pioneer 1. They also now have created a Pioneer 2, which is for people who already have created a company or industry or business while they are studying. And it's also to help them through the next steps as well. So it's very encompass different aspects of entrepreneurship. And again, that's available to all of our students for free as well. And then we also have Birkbeck Talent, which is our in-house recruitment agency. So basically, they will just go and knock at the doors at companies and say, okay, do you have jobs, part-time jobs or internships that would be available for our students? And they really pride themselves in trying to getting those jobs that are related to your studies. So really something that you can then put on your CV after proudly, so that give you a hedge. So then you take advantage of the fact that you are free during the day and get those activities, those part-time job or internship to help you. So in terms of kind of events that those Birkbeck Future have done in the past few years since they've been in place. So example of workshop of career events. So for instance, we have Manchester City Football Club sales. They came, that one was the online event. We did a recruitment event with our team when they were talking to students about the different jobs that you could have within the Manchester Football Club, and exactly what kind of job you could have and what kind of career you could have with them. Upcoming event is a sport and entertainment lawyer for Premier League and FIFA, who is going to talk to students about the different careers that are available and how they can work if they want to follow kind of his path in the sector. We've had the Startup Tuesday fortnightly event where entrepreneurs and speakers, people who have created startup, for instance, would be talking to students about their experience, sharing, answering questions. We have annual job fair as well. And we have worked with Google, for instance, PwC, and a different organization as well. We have taken advantage of the fact that we are in central London because obviously in the past, by giving us an easy access to get companies and people to come and talk to our students. But even when things have gone online last year, we were still able to have a lot of activities online for our students and carry on so that they still have access to all these activities and can learn from that. In terms of employers that Birkbeck Talent has worked with, just to mention a few, so we've got PwC, Santander, Nike, yes, a different kind of companies that we've worked with in the past few years. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about our kind of academic part. We offer at Birkbeck about, I think of about 150 postgraduate course, 100 undergraduate course. So I'm not going to talk about all of them, but we're just going to go through the different schools. So you will be able to see kind of a list of subjects we teach. And then if you have the question, we can go on the website, we can talk about those. So in terms of a School of Art, some of the programs that we have there, so Art and Humanities, Creative Writing. Generally speaking, we got a lot of interest from Southern Africa for journalism in this department. Also theater as well. We had a few students who did courses about theater, drama studies, or creative writing. So we are second in London for media and 100th in the world for art and humanities in terms of our ranking. We also do digital media actually in that department. So digital media management kind of working on projects in digital media for strategy, building, marketing, and these kind of activities as well, which are very popular with our students. And I was just showing an example as well on this slide of one of our students from Nigeria, another part of a continent. But she is a student who actually work on a project as part of a creative writing program. And then when she finished working on that project, she took it to an editor, and that was published, and she was actually a bestseller, New York Times bestseller in 2020, and won quite a few prizes. So our programs are doing quite well, and our academics on those programs are actually on most of our programs are people who are either involved in research or yes, we really it's very important for us that people who are teaching our program are researchers involved in research as well. So another school that is very popular with our international students is the School of Business, Economics and Informatics. So you can see again the list of subjects. We might see something there that pick your attention. Very popular is our business innovation masters, and they can have specialization in e-business or entrepreneurship, or and they're doing quite well as well. We also have a lot of application from the continent, the region for organizational psychology, very, very popular with students from South Africa, especially, and also marketing or sport management as well. So you can have a look at the list. So obviously we offer courses in most of those programs at undergraduate and postgraduate level. One of our programs, the Culinary Innovation Management, is run in a partnership with the Cordon Bleu. So it's a very practical course program as well, where students can kind of learn the industry, and it's for people who want to create maybe have a career in the kind of food industry, restaurant business, or a very specific subject like that. And you get a degree. It's a partnership with the Cordon Bleu, so very famous as well organization. One of our school is the School of Law as well. So at undergraduate level, we've got the LLB Law, and also postgraduate, we have a list of the different programs that we have. We are in the top 10 law school in the UK and top 3 law school in London. There are partnerships within the School of Law with different organizations, for instance, Release and River House. So that allows our students to basically get work experience as well during the day via these programs. And our moved kind of team, have been doing very well. I think in 2019 and 2018, they were in the top schools in terms of a mooting competition. They do it at the UK level. I don't think there was one in 2020. So I think we're kind of in the last kind of session. We're definitely in the last 2 years. We were there, right in there and doing very well in those subjects. And then we also have a School of Science. So our psychology courses are very well seen. They have a very great reputation. So with in the top fifth psychology in the UK. We run a program with University College London, the MSc Educational Neuroscience. And that's a very popular program as well, which is a program when students can get both degrees basically from UCL and Birkbeck, but they apply through Birkbeck. So that's a very good program. Also Birkbeck prices, so it's a bit financially quite interesting. And we also have a biological science courses. So we have biomedicine. Bioinformatics is very in demand for our students. It's going to be running only as distance learning for next academic year. But again, a lot of interest as well. And we also run our structural biology programs, and that's again in partnership with UCL. So when you have some courses in partnership with UCL, that means some of your teaching will be at Birkbeck and some of your teaching will be at UCL as well. So it's very well respected organization as well, ISBM. And we also have courses as well in Earth and Planetary Science, which also are very popular. We do always get a lot of inquiries from Zimbabwe and South Africa as well for those. And then the last school I'm going to talk about, so the School of Social Sciences, History and Philosophy. So we do get a lot of requests generally from both, especially in politics and international relations. So just to say, we have partnership in both program with UK Parliament, and we do a parliamentary course as well. And we have a 12 department in politics in the UK in terms of research. Our School of Department of World Linguistics was one of the first one that was open in the UK, actually the first one to open in the UK. That was back in 1965. Again, very popular course as well. And we also have courses in education, power, and social science as well, which have always a lot of inquiries from the region as well. So in terms of the courses, that's kind of an overview of the different schools that we have program in. I will go quite quickly through the different entry requirements for our undergraduate. So for students from South Africa, for our undergraduate, just a reminder, in the UK, it's a 3-year normally program for undergraduate studies. So applicants from South Africa can normally enter directly with a national senior certificate. So you got the grade here that are required. So most of our program will require an equivalent of 96 UCAS points, so CCC. So that would be similar as well for students from Zimbabwe as well with a A-level as well. So that's the entry requirement for undergraduate studies. So you can have a quick look at that. And then for postgraduate, so we're looking for degree honors for students from South Africa. So it's usually a second class that the second class we're asking for, so equivalent to 2, and similarly for students from Zimbabwe as well. And for students interested in research, so we normally would ask for a master degrees from your country, from a recognized university there. I will touch a little bit on the English language requirements. So we're looking at the equivalent for most programs of 6.5 equivalent IELTS with no lower than 6.0. And then also, so these are we do accept other qualification or tests such as Pearson, the TOEFL can be online. We also accept the International Baccalaureate English, literature or literature and language, and the Cambridge IGCSE. We will also be offering in the next few weeks in-house English language tests for some of our students as well. So we're sending the invitation as well as a way to help our students. So that's also another option for our students as well to apply. In terms of the fees, just general information. So for our undergraduate, the fees are the same all across the courses for all programs. So you're looking at £14,560 per annum for academic 2022-23. And then postgraduate, you've got different courses, prices according to the program, but are run from about £16,380 up to £19,830. For research, it's the same for all of the programs, £13,200. We have a reduced deposit this year. So normally it's £2,000 to take into account a lot of issues that people have had recently. We've reduced it to £200 this year again to help students. It should normally go back for academic year 2024, but 23. But if you're applying for academic year 2022-23, so the deposit that will be required from you is £200 only. That's a non-refundable deposit. Our international students have the option to pay the program in termly installments when they enroll. They can also say that they want to pay monthly, so they have the option to pay monthly as well, as long as they open a UK bank account. And we don't charge anything additional for that. We do have a few scholarships, so I am mentioning here the one that is the scholarship for international students. So that is based basically on your status as an international student. And for students from Sub-Saharan Africa, you're looking at the in general Global Excellence Scholarship. So that would be £1,000 to £5,000. Majority should be about £3,000, and that's available to undergraduate or postgraduate students. If you have an offer to study with us, an unconditional offer, then you can apply, and there will be different rounds of allocation. There are also a small number of scholarships that are according to the subject. So for instance, there's a marketing scholarship for students doing the marketing program, the postgraduate one, and that's £5,000. And there are also, usually there's one for the sport management for female students on this program. Yes, so there are a few kind of programs like that, but remember, it tends to be a bit more limited, about maybe 2 or 3, and you need to apply for those. So as soon as you get the offer, normally I send information to all our students when they get an offer about the different scholarships that are available to them. Also, this you can see those on the website. I will talk a little bit about accommodation, just quickly about that, just to reassure you that there are a lot of options. We know that sometimes our students think, okay, we're studying in the evening, then how long does it take to go to the hall? Is it safe? So we get halls for our students within the University of London intercollegiate halls, and they're located mostly in Bloomsbury. So this the halls the rooms that we're getting are only in Bloomsbury. So there's one that is just opposite our main building. Then I think the furthest one away is about 7-minute walk. So you can be, from the classroom and in your bedroom in about 10 minutes. So that's quite easy, and it's a very kind of, there are people around when you leave a class, so you do feel quite safe over there. There are different options, so depending basically on your taste and your budget. You can have rooms that are catered or not catered, so you can either go to the canteen to eat, otherwise you can have access to a kitchen to cook for yourself, and then obviously you can have an ensuite room or share facilities. So international students get priorities in the allocation of the rooms. And we also run a guaranteed accommodation scheme. So students have got an offer and have accepted the offer. They have a deadline to apply, and then if they apply by that deadline, which is usually May, June, then they are guaranteed to get an offer. But otherwise, as long as you don't apply too late, normally in the past few years, we've always been able to give a room to our international students because we do get priority. We do have a few options for students if they come in couple of families. We know it's usually a smaller numbers, but there are some options for those students. And I think that's it in terms of a kind of a different option. So yes, so if you have any question about the presentation, please let me know. I'm happy to answer your question now.
Thank you so much, Catherine. That was so informative. Thank you so much. I'm just going to share my screen quickly. Fantastic. So we have had a couple of questions come through during your presentation. So I'm just going to start from the top. What sort of deadlines do you propose students stick to for both undergrad and postgraduate?
Okay, so in terms of the very last deadline, we're usually looking into kind of end of August, so quite late. There are a few courses, for instance, in organization psychology, when it's mid-August, but otherwise for our postgraduate students, even the undergraduate, you're kind of looking up to August for the very latest student. But obviously, we kind of encourage obviously students, if they can, to apply earlier, so that they can start all the process as soon as possible in terms of getting meeting the condition of the offer,
securing accommodation
as well. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And the earlier you apply, future students, it also helps for the turnaround processing time of your visa. Visas can sometimes be a bit stressful on students, and we really like to get in all documentation approved and checked by us and the university well in advance. Yes. So please leave that for consideration as well. Catherine, we've received another question from Anonymous. They would like to know, does the university offer medicine?
Okay, so we don't have medicine, no. So we've got a bit of biology courses. So if people want to work in like labs or this kind of biological kind of industry and work, but we don't do medicine or nursing. Yeah, no, we don't do that. We do have biomedicine otherwise.
Yes, yes, which is becoming increasingly more popular amongst our students. We have definitely seen a surge for students thinking a little bit outside the box, where traditionally they would have veered more to become a doctor. Students, especially during the pandemic, they've seen that there are many ways to help people. So
Yes.
that's very, very exciting.
And even as a postgraduate, we also offer a program in research and global infection. So that was actually a program that was very popular even before a few years back, and I
Yeah.
guess it's even more popular now. So in the School of Science, we do have great programs as well in the field as well, and in research as well.
Yeah, it's definitely opened up a whole new can of worms, hasn't it? One of the benefits of this pandemic. Tell me, how has the university adapted to COVID-19? Just very briefly, because I know the UK, is very much on the tail end with no restrictions. But us down in sub-Saharan, we still have a couple of restrictions, and we are still very mindful. And we still wear masks. So just briefly, how have you guys adapted, and how is the safety of the students being taken care of on campus?
Okay, so in terms of adapting for the teaching, we put in place a very thorough kind of program that allows our students to study online. Even now, but so for instance, since September, October, this intake, we were back on campus, but everything was ready if we had to go back online at last minute, which we did at the end of December. Everything was ready. So for in December, we were asked to go back online. So it was still seamless for students in terms of the experience because all the courses and material was already there, ready for them. And now we're back on campus again. In terms of safety in the college, so at the moment, we're still asking our students to wear masks. There are a lot of protocols. Everywhere there are things to like kind of wash their hands, and all the gels are there. So yeah, we kind of follow the governmental advice. So depending on how the situation goes, the college adapt very, very quickly and make sure everything is in place to protect students. So even like now that we've been back on campus for our students for a few weeks time, actually, a month and a half, we still ask them to wear masks for now as well, just to be on the,
Of
to be as
course,
safe as
yeah.
possible, just to reassure students of that, yeah, they are really looking into protecting them, making sure everything is as safe as possible.
And then my last question for you this evening, Catherine, rapid fire, your top three subjects that you want students to consider that maybe a little bit outside the norm, something they haven't considered, but just something, a food for thought, if you will.
Okay, so we've got the business innovation program. So there are different aspects into the business innovation program as well on our courses. So they are very popular with our students. We have this program as well, the culinary industry one. So they are at undergraduate, foundation, undergraduate, and postgraduate level. And they are like very niche programs. So if you're interested maybe in tourism, but tourism around like food industry, restaurant, hotellery, hospitality, that could be an option for you, or something that is very interesting. And also we've got our digital management program. So if you want to carry in those fields that are really developing now, especially, one thing are a lot more online, that
More
allows you to be
digital,
ready.
yeah.
Exactly. So we offer also those programs as well in the School of Art, and they're very popular.
Fantastic. Well, on behalf of Global Education, we thank you for your time this evening, Catherine. We would like to thank our students online as well. We appreciate your time. As mentioned at the beginning of Catherine's presentation, tonight's session is recorded and will be posted on our website for you to view at a later stage. Catherine, I'm wishing you a wonderful evening, and I hope to see you soon in person.
Thank you. Bye. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.